everyone. Welcome to the Rings of Inasvine campaign. Once again, I am your host and dungeon master for tonight, Voice or Paul. And here we have the fourth, not the least important, but definitely the last one we're getting to, player, Eats. Would you like to
It's
introduce?
okay. You can say least important. You won't hurt my feelings.
You have feelings? I wish to remind you, this is a stream. Not everyone's used to your antics.
Oh, that's very fair.
Maybe lean into it a little bit. Do very quiet. What was that noise? You just call it like a squeal or
I don't know what you'd call it, quite frankly. It's just a thing that I do.
fair enough. But if you could do it a little bit more calmly next time, just so that we don't take anyone by surprise, that would be greatly appreciated. Better, thank you. Anyway, besides the noises, would you care to introduce yourself, like as a player?
Sure. Sure. My name is Itzliquatli, or It's for short. I go by its pronouns, or they, them, or honestly anything you got laying around. I've been playing D&D since high school. I am now in my last year of college. Uh, Doing physics stuff. Uh, Honestly, I've always been bad at introductions. I'm not exactly sure what else to say.
I mean, whatever else your heart feels like is important.
That's the thing, though, is my heart's bad at figuring out what's important and what isn't.
That's why you're still in college.
Very true.
Fair enough. Anyway, this story reaches back, much like Calzias and Carthon's story, because we are going back to the childhood of one of our upcoming heroes. Down in the far quarter, unlike, once again, for those who haven't tuned into the previous two episodes, the far quarter is a hodgepodge of different elemental chaoses here in the center of Inasvine, whereas the rings rotate around the far quarter, well beyond its chaotic reach. The far quarter, though, there are those who live on the far quarter amongst the chaos, amongst the elements, amongst the grit and rigor, mainly to do farming, to harvest the valuable materials that spawn. And Blacksoot, where Calzias and Carthon are from, are one of the larger, more major settlements amongst the far quarter. Here, we zoom into a much smaller mining operation settled within the nook of a mountain. Now, I don't think we figured out the name of this settlement, and we'll probably figure it out more later, because, can't think of everything and figure out everything for a session zero. Uh, but as a 10-year-old, actually, whatever you would consider to be like a teenager year for your character, Eats, would you like to describe your character as a child?
All right, so I believe frogfolk age a little bit faster than humans, so I would consider like I don't know, maybe maybe about 10 is like adolescent is kind of getting into teenage years, equivalent to a human at least. Uh all right, Splurbod Caeparius Anatolius is a frog folk of fairly for his age, uh pretty big for a frog folk. Uh, if you're thinking like tree frogs like Gripply from D&D, that's not really what I'm going for. I'm basing this character on more of like a cane toad, so like a big frog. Uh, he's gonna grow up to be over 6 foot, but for now he's not that big. He's just big for his age. He's got this like muddy brown warty skin, uh, and uh, probably probably is going to be dressed in fairly common clothes, not anything ratty necessarily, but like not anything fancy either. Sort of, uh, you know, middle of the road kind of clothes.
Fair enough. And in this pure autumn day, much like all the others, I suppose you've given it a little bit of thought about what your life is going to entail. I mean, there's probably only like 20 houses in this little settlement. What do you yearn for, Splurbod?
I I think I consider myself lucky. I've I've lived in this settlement for my entire life, all 10 years of it. Even as young as I am, I've seen similar settlements on sort of where I'm at the outskirts of civilization fall into chaos, fall to the scourge of banditry. Out away from the heart of civilization, where maybe people feel more empowered to act on their basest of instincts. And my goal is I want to help people. I don't want anyone to feel the fear that comes from that kind of lifestyle.
Fair enough and well put. Sorry, I had to send a message to chat because I noticed I made a mistake on the reception. Your stats are wrong, and I apologize.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
d-
You did it without the sheet lock.
yeah,
Yeah. It's all right. We're still learning.
we're
Still
always.
figuring stuff out.
So let me ask you this: what what experience instilled this duty to make sure that people aren't made a victim? Because I will be honest, banditry is a problem in the Far Quarter. For many settlements, it's not an issue, but whenever these bandits get like coordination and resources, they do become a real hassle that adventurers and divers will need to take care of. What experience inspired this thought process?
I think if anything in particular inspired this, it would have to be uh it would have to be a childhood friend of mine, someone who I met around this time, uh, deep in the past who who came to our village as sort of a refugee, as someone who was able to get out before another village was ransacked for all it's worth. Uh, Becoming friends with them, interacting with them, and hearing that story just sort of filled Splurbod with the kind of righteous zeal that would cause, you know, would cause anyone, frankly, to at least consider military service.
All right. I really like this. However, we did not prepare for this, so I need you to make a. I'm going to need you to roll a d64 and a d5.
All right. Uh, what's the roll?
Forward slash R space then 1D whatever you need.
1d64.
I made a mistake. It's supposed to be a D68, but it is still pretty funny that you rolled a 2. You want to keep that? You
I'm
want?
good. I'm good to keep that. Honestly, I'm sorry. I thought it was a 64.
No, I told you 64. That was my bad. That's
Oh,
why
that was okay.
that's why I'm giving you like, hey, you want to re-roll because I made a mistake.
We can just keep two.
Sure. And roll a D5 for me, please. Genuinely really funny, given how this session's about to go.
Oh, look, a D5 uses a D10. Uh, Actually rolls on the thing.
Oh, that's pretty neat. Listen. I have chat. I have priorities right now. I apologize. Neat. I didn't see the D10. Anywho, this is from what you rolled. You rolled a male constructed individual, like a warforged. Uh,
Ooh, interesting.
uh, quickly. What did they do before they ran and joined your settlement?
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it simple. Uh, I think probably what they would have done. Uh, you know what? I'm gonna say they were a farmer. Just
Farmers.
to keep things simple. A farming construct.
Fair enough. Oh shoot, my apologies, stream. I used Canva to set this up. I apologize. Uh, my immediate thought is like Scyther, but then I remember that's a Pokemon. So Harvester.
Oh, sure.
All right. So you come on up to Harvester's little abode. They've probably at this point they've done a little bit of work. They've tilled a few fields and shown that they're of value to this community. And I imagine you guys have a little bit of rapport at this point as they are just swinging their hoe into the ground and just breaking ground for the next harvest or for the next planting season. And they look at you and just, hey, Splur, You doing okay?
I'm doing all right, Mr. Harvester.
Ple- pleasure. You. You're here to help? You here for a story?
Came by for no reason in particular, but if you've got anything you need help with, I'm always happy to lend a hand.
Well, I do need some oil. Like mixed in with a little bit of grease. Been a little bit parched out here. You think you can get to my shack and make a little something?
Sure thing. I'll be back in a jiff.
And going into Harvester's shack, it's weird. It's disorganized but orderly. The bed is well maintained, tools hung up by hooks. Well maintained like sharpening area for like the scythes, the hoe. However, foodstuffs, other furniture are just spread out chaotically amongst the small space. It's not hard to find the grease and the oil, but it's it's an odd sight for someone who's who just has such a small space.
Ask him if he needs help cleaning up.
No, no, it's it's fine.
Here's that oil and grease you asked for.
Thank you. Did like looks at the cup you grabbed, like looks at it, squints a little, and then takes a sip. Hmm. Thank you. You got nothing better to do?
Nope. Mom and Pa are all done for the day. They don't have any more chores for me. Uh, I'm all cut up on schoolwork. I'm free as a bee.
Free as a bee, you say. Uh, what what activity do you think you bonded you with Harvester? Was it like amateur weapons practice? Just working the fields, or just like keeping an eye out, like as like some sort of vigil of the surroundings.
Probably helping around in the field. Splurbod has a very bad habit of just always wants to, especially younger, less jaded. Splurbod has a very bad habit of just anytime anyone in particular needs help, he just wants to be there to help. Uh, even when that might get him in trouble. Foreshadowing is a literary device in which
And Harvester appreciates every single second of help that they can get. With they tend to keep to themselves, but they show their appreciation to your family for your help. A few extra vegetables whenever the harvest is dispersed. they're pretty quick to offer their eyes for babysitting, making sure that you don't do anything too crazy while the others are out and about.
Fair enough.
And I assume you probably, after like a few years, you probably work with Harvester to come up with a plan, cough cough, to perhaps do something? Cough cough? Cough cough?
Cough, cough.
Would you mind if we set this next scene at dinner with your parents in Harvester?
Sure.
Your the meal is very simple. Grilled zucchini and squash mixed in with essentially leftover rat tail. It's a little bit of a delicacy if it didn't look so bad. But as the meal is placed down before all four of you, your father, as I'm pulling up the notes, your father, Gertog, I never asked the pronunciation.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that was actually. I think I actually mistyped that. I'm pretty sure I meant to say Gitrog because that's a magic. That's a Magic the Gathering thing. But I think that
Miss,
would
miss,
be Gertog.
wait, you're saying misspellings are a thing in Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, that's what happens when you counter a spell. Is you just interrupt the guy, and he just mispronounces the name of the spell he's trying to cast, so it doesn't actually resolve.
So what you're saying is whenever a Magic the Gathering player does a typo in the group chat, it's a death sentence?
Very true. Very true.
Rough. Any
Magic the Gathering is a cutthroat thing. You know, someone once lost a tournament because of effectively a verbal typo, a misspeaking.
they went to the Gathering of Magic tournament instead? Anyway, my apologies. Side tangent over. Uh, Gertog places down the food and sits down. Uh, what does your father and mother do? What are their occupations in this small little village?
That is another thing that I didn't really think about. I
I would probably recommend one of them probably being a herbalist. Just
uh
just knee jerk reaction.
fair enough. We'll say that let's actually say that both of them are herbalists, but mom manages Maprig manages the like front facing, like the customer facing side, whereas dad is more involved in like the gardening and the like the growing and harvesting of the herbs.
Got it. Remember,
It's a
guys.
team effort. It's a team effort right there.
Remember, not all herbalists are druids. Some herbalists just like growing things. And some druids aren't vegetarian.
Remember, not all herbalists are druids. Some herbalists are just potheads.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it. But, but continuing on, uh, Harvester takes a fork and nibbles on some of the squash, the zucchini, and the little bit of the smelly meat, and just nods her head. Mm, this, this is. Good. A compliment to the chef. My pretty good. Just I, be- I believe the term is compliments, and harvester just no compliment singular. Just sort of smiles and takes another nibble. Yeah, Gurtalgay chuckles a little bit and like, well, it's the first time we've had a guest over and already a little bit of sarcasm, eh? Your mother rolls her eyes at this. Eats.
Yeah,
Just was curious if you were going to say anything.
I'm sorry. I just can't think of anything to say right now.
Fair enough. The chat and the small talk bounces around harvesters harvest, around your parents' little garden, and how their their alchemical work has been going. And harvesters, after like one very curt uh, word about paprika. Hmm. You know, out of all the spice in the world, I I worry that something is rotting here.
Oh, do you need some sort of treatment for your crops?
No, no, I don't mean life is dying. No, I mean it in a other way. Have I told you, Splurbod? Did, did I ever tell you that I wasn't alone when I ran from my home?
You weren't?
No. There was a there was a god. I I'd never learned their name. I never was interested in getting to know people on the field. But when the bandits came, they helped me. They made sure that I was safe. Good dog, my pig. Your son has a big heart and a strong sense of justice. Do you do you plan to have him staying here for the rest of his life? Mafrig is staring at Harvester, but your father is like tilting his head and just Why do you ask this, Harvester? And the constructed individual, like joints creaking as they turn to look at you, Spurbod.
Leave the leave the village. I I don't know what to say. I've lived my whole life here.
I know, but you don't have a teacher here. Many of us can't wield the blade effectively. Sure, we can teach you how to use a crossbow, a few simple weapons, but you speak a lot about how much you wish to protect people. That is true, no?
Well, of course, but I I can't exactly protect you guys if I go off somewhere.
Harvester smiles. You're you're small. You've got a lot of heart, and well, you know how to swing a stick. You already almost broke one of my kneecaps last time we you wanted to show off.
I told you I was sorry.
No, but don't you want to do more? I mean, if we have another bandit attack, we have the terrain on our side. We have many people willing to pick up arms. We can defend ourselves. Uh, your mother actually speaks up. We would be very proud of you if you did wish to pursue this, Spurbod, but this is taking us a little by surprise.
I was gonna tell you when the time was right, but no, no, Harvester's right. If I am gonna take this seriously, if I am gonna go out and protect people, I need to go away for a while.
Attaboy. Your father stands up and has this like very like stoic face, and you know what's about to happen. You've seen this many times with people who have yelled at him, bullied him, just treated him like terribly at the front desk. And with determination in his eyes, he pulls a Detective Fulbright and starts crying. And just, my boy, a soldier. Oh, a man of martial prowess. Oh, it's gonna
My
make.
boy on the pursuit of justice.
I'm so proud.
Splurbod is also like leaning into this and kind of crying a bit too.
And like, we can't delay. We gotta tell everyone. Honey, what is the closest thing to a sword that we have? And she looks around, and Mapri grabs a carrot and just hands it to you, Swerbod. Like, well, this is the best we got. Are we really gonna do this? And Gertog just smiles like, we have to tell the world. My son is gonna be a fighter. And just like picks you up like underneath the shoulders and lifts you up into the air.
It's it'll be all right. I'll come back. I promise.
And then one of the most difficult things you ever had to deal with happen, or at least your parents had to deal with, does happen. Bureaucracy. It takes
A
us.
shit bureaucracy.
It takes a solid month before they can get you approved on one of the trading caravans to be taken to the rings. And given the lack of communication devices, this process probably would have been more like 5 days if you weren't so remote from the main centers of commerce of the Far Quarter. But
Makes
one,
sense, yeah.
but once you get approved, they give you the sign off, tell you where to meet, how long it's gonna take. Your entire village is there to see you off as you travel along the military caravan, picking up various recruits. They all wave, and your parents wave with their hands and their tongues.
I'm waving back at them with my tongue too, just so I can be seen like over the caravan.
And I will say, this is a mechanical caravan. This does have a motor. This is not like
Oh
a.
god damn.
This is not like given the advent of like Magitech, uh, a lot of the a lot of stuff in the Nean military is mechanical through Magitech or just straight up engineering. Though it is not unheard of to typical carriages drawn like horse-drawn carriages. And as you are pressed against the various individuals, just either keeping watch over you guys, make sure you don't jump over, or just being excited recruits themselves, ready to see what the world's gonna bring. I'm not sure if we need to narrate the.
We need this to go on for 13 hours as we narrate every single thing that I do at military academy.
All right,
Everything that brings me from 10 years old all the way up to like what did I put for my character sheet? 34 years old, I think.
Jesus. Mayhaps. Roll for your first push-up, then roll for your second push-up, then roll for your third, please. All athletics.
Uh skills, let's go. Athletics.
You fail. You get yelled at by a drill instructor. You have to do better.
Oh, unfortunate. Let's roll again.
All right. You succeed. You don't get yelled at. Do it for the third time. You fail. More yelling.
God damn it.
Collectively, you succeed your first task of making 10 push-ups. How do you feel, Spurbod?
Pretty good.
All right. Now that I distracted you with all these rolls, we are gonna do a flash forward.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I don't think we need to describe your boot camp experiences. And even once you get into the swing of things in the military, you're sent on multiple missions, ranging from just peace orders, helping to assisting with larger operations within the Far Quarter. In conjunction to like higher level adventurers, keep
Yeah.
keeping the peace, keeping everything sane.
All right.
The training goes well. You're honestly very efficient and, probably have a little bit of fond nostalgia from all the yelling from the drill sergeant.
Oh, absolutely.
And eventually, you do finally do like about your 40th true mission. Not like, those peace operations and like guard duty. Those aren't really considered missions, just expectations. After your 40th mission of just assisting the military, you get one of your superior officers comes up to you and just says, I'm sorry, Sergeant Anatolius.
Yes, sir.
We would like to include you in an operations briefing. Do you understand what this means, Sergeant?
I do, and I'm honored, sir.
Good. Report as soon as possible. What are you doing standing there? Get moving.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm moving, sir. Sorry, I can't drag my token. I can't move. The game's currently paused.
You don't need to right now.
Okay, fair enough.
And as you head on over to the operations tent, you open it up, and there's three individuals in there. Two just seemed, generic background commanders, but the one in the center, the one with the highest rank of them all, you see as Major Phaleth, an elvish commander, completely decorated in medals, and just looking up, hands on the table, with like an outsprawn map. And there is a weird, like, confidence to her eyes. Sergeant Anatolius,
Reporting for duty.
your training has been going fairly well. But you've demonstrated fluency in all weapons, fluency in following orders, and you've been passing marks for leadership. Must say you got quite the bright future ahead of you.
Thank you.
She leans over and you see before you this. Splurbod,
Uh, I I've got a bit of an issue. I'm just seeing a black
yeah, it's
screen.
completely black. Uh,
Is that?
there we go.
Oh, there we go.
I still need to figure out lighting. Sorry, chat. She looks at you. There's been a bandit problem here at this intersection just about 15 miles away. They've been ambushing this specific intersection and have been leaving behind broken carriages and bodies behind, but we are unable to find how they're able to just get in and get out so quickly.
Hmm.
We would like you.
It does. Oh,
Sorry, you may speak your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions.
judging by this map, it does seem odd. I see off to the west. It looks like there's or sorry, no, that's east. Uh, off to the east, it looks like it goes straight into the woodlands, and then off to the north and the west, there's it looks like a sheer cliff face before the forest continues. I presume you've already checked. You've already searched much of the that forest to the east and found nothing.
No temporary structures, not even a tent. A few footprints that led only off the cliff. The way these bandits are described, they're ru- rugged and tough, much like the typical rough and tumble bandits that we all just hear about in movies.
Hmm.
You'll be the first military detachment we are sending out to deal with this situation. We've assigned 4 individuals to be under your care and under your command.
Will four be enough? It if this is a obviously this depends on the size of the band we're expecting, but
From what
depending on what.
from what we hear, it is about like she looks at her notes. Looks to be about a group of 7.
four.
A military
So
a military detachment.
five well trained military personnel versus seven uh, disorganized bandits. That does seem like a reasonable detachment.
Now, the primary objective is for you to deal with the situation. Given this location's very low strategic importance, we also need you to make sure that everyone that we send on this mission comes home alive. Understood?
Understood.
Any further questions?
I don't believe so.
All right. Here are the names of your squad mates. Rendezvous with them. Get Do whatever you need to do, and please head out by daybreak.
All right.
All right. You have the list of the four members already. Who do you want to talk to first?
Hold up a sec. Carlos, you're saying you can't hear me? Interesting. Okay. Worried for a second about audio issues.
I mean, I hear you just fine, but streaming.
Fair enough.
Speaking of being fair, who do you want to talk to first? If anyone at all.
I definitely want to talk to these people. Let's go. Honestly, let's just go in order. So let's start off with Private Sinbad.
All right. Private Sinbad. Uh, there's an entire detachment here in this outpost where constructed individuals work, are maintained, and are partially developed. There's many different industries in the rings that, they work specifically on robotics and hydraulics and the magitech field there within. And as you come on up, you ask around for Private Sinbad, and stepping up, saluting you, you see a large 7.5 foot robot, just with glowing parts all up and down the armor pieces, where probably where the chassis is. And they look down at you, just Private Sinbad, sir. And you can hear a feminine tone of voice. Despite not having any obvious feminine features within their construction, they have the generic Siri voice of this world.
God, I hate that. I can no longer imagine the Siri voice. I just think of the TikTok voice.
That's fine if you want it to be the TikTok voice.
I don't want it to be the TikTok voice. I want nothing to be the TikTok voice.
Okay, I know this doesn't apply to you, but the voice of the London Underground, and if you've been to
Oh,
London,
okay.
let's just say that.
I know that voice. That's a good voice.
Mind the gap, please.
Mind the
Don't
gap,
don't die,
please.
please. Going.
Private Sinbad, I presume you've gotten the mission briefing so already.
I've downloaded it into my memory. I'm looking forward to going on my first operation with you, sir.
Before we do, I'd like to familiarize myself with my team. Tell me, what are your skills, your strengths, your weaknesses?
Sir, this is my first mission since beginning operations, so I cannot begin to give you a list of supposed weaknesses and things that could potentially go wrong within my operation. However, my strength lies within sheer force of strength and perhaps will.
And perhaps will. Strange way of putting it.
Like I said before, sir, this is my first operation since beginning operations.
Well, I guess we'll just have to give you a chance to test your mettle then.
Is that a pun, sir? Because that was really funny.
Permission to laugh.
Now that you've given me permission to laugh, that makes it not funny anymore. But that was pretty funny. Do you want me to laugh?
You don't have to.
Understood, sir. And just salutes.
All right. Be ready when I come to get you tomorrow morning. We ride at dawn.
What are we writing, sir? Oh, that is. We're not writing anything, are we, sir?
It's a figure of speech.
I apologize. My databases have only been open for about a week. I'm still trying to download all the vernacular.
It's all right. I should be more clear in my language.
By the time tomorrow, I should have your entire most common words spoken down pat and should be able to converse with you fluently.
I look forward to it.
Uh, and she nods and like turns and you see like the engineer behind her is like grinning ear to ear, like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sending someone out," and just continues to work on like maintenance. Who's next?
Next would be what is that? Corporal Hope.
Yeah, Corporal Hope. Uh, you've actually heard of Corporal Hope. They've been on a few missions, and you've heard of some of their escapades. Uh, in coming up to her, she's actually like there's a little bit of a chapel set up in this outpost, and you ask essentially the footman of this chapel to essentially get to Corporal Hope. Quietly, they go inside. They come up. They tap one individual's shoulder, and it seems to be like she's a normal human woman. It seems like mid 30s, and she stands up in armor, does a little bow forward to no icon in particular, and she comes out and just looks at you and just, "Oh, are you the corporal, uh, Mister uh, Corporal Anna?"
Double check. You said earlier that I'm sergeant, right?
Yeah, you're a sergeant. You have achieved the
Okay.
rank of sergeant. Sergeant Anna. Yes?
I believe that's Sergeant Anatolius.
Anatolius. Oh, sorry, I'm not used to fourth ring words. Um,
It's quite all right.
she does a little bit of a bow. My name is, as you've already said, Corporal Hope. Uh, and for legal reasons, I must disclose with you, I am a doppelganger, a changeling, if you will. Uh, just have to, just have to tell you.
I appreciate that.
Uh, I am a follower of, I'm a follower of faith from Angart, and I I blend my faith around a few different philosophies, primarily those for protection and prosperity. If I'm not sure how well versed you are in religion, I just figured you would want the simple explanation.
Hmm. I appreciate the explanation, but frankly, I'm less interested in what you are and where you come from, and more about what you're capable of.
Well, beyond standard medical experience, I I'm a seasoned diplomat. Worked in studied a lot about eloquence before and after I was found out, and I'm able to give out blessings to those who wish.
Blessings.
Yes, blessings to help invigorate yourself, and a few to harm those that wish to do us bad things.
Hmm. Well, I can definitely see how you'll be useful on the field of battle.
And how are you going to be useful? I see that you're well armored. You're armed. You are well stocked with weapons.
I'll be leading this expedition from the front lines. Not only am I skilled in blade and shield, but I'm also a skilled leader and tactician.
And do you have any operations that you successfully led under your belt?
Not yet. This is to be my first.
Hmm. She squints at you. It's pretty obvious that she's not really sold on your leadership, but no, it's just.
If you have any questions about my plans, feel free to bring them up to me.
I will certainly bring them up.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I still need to meet I still have to meet with two more of our team that are coming with us.
Understood. If you need to take a moment to yourself, the chapel always has more carpets for you to pray if you need it.
I'll keep that in mind.
All right.
And then I think we're going to leave, and I'm going to track down this private Linkle Joran. Or maybe Yorin?
I think we're gonna go with Joran.
Joran? All right.
You actually meet them in the training fields. They appear to be participating in a hand-to-hand combat exercise, where a you see two dragonborns, one blue, like obviously blue, and the other seems to be a gold hue. And as you come on up, you're told like Private Jorn is over here, and you just see this blue dragonborn getting picked up by the gold one and just lifted over and suplexed. And in the moment of like trying to figure out what's going on, the gold dragonborn goes for a pin, and the few soldiers nearby, they just cheer as this guy is just pinning down this blue female dragonborn, and just an instructor steps on up and just says, "Well done. You have you have successfully proven that your confidence is not as powerful as your capabilities." Like just like looking at this blue dragonborn, just still on the ground. Next time, please do not interrupt my instruction if you don't know how to teach. As the sergeant steps up and continues their lesson, uh, this female blue dragonborn like gets to, like to her knees, wipes off the dirt, the muck. Like, I I just said that there was fucking hell. This does match the description.
Private Joran, may I have a word?
She a little bit of a frown. She looks at you and just thought I had a few more minutes. Okay. She stands up and she's probably about your size, given that you're probably what 6 foot.
6'1", I think is what's on my sheet.
Yeah, she's probably just about as tall as you, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, and just she's currently in like training armaments, and just yes, sir.
I'm told. I assume you've already gotten the mission briefing for tomorrow.
I heard that there was going to be bandits, and that I should be ready for anything.
That's about the long and short of it. I'm Sergeant Anatolius. I'll be leading this expedition. I just wanted to check in and get an idea for who exactly has been assigned to this. What's your strengths? What's your weaknesses?
My strengths, well, and she sort of smiles at this. My strengths include breaking through the lines, heavy weaponry, heavier shields, heavier armor, having a little bit of faith in myself, a little calling from the heavens, and like she is like really leaning into this, like hand gestures, hand up into like the sky, and like whereas Hope and Sinbad were like a little bit more stoic and less expressive, Private Jordan is really hamming it up a little bit. She goes through about like 12 more strengths in like slight detail, ending with and amateur poet.
You seem you seem very accomplished then.
I am.
Well, I can't wait to see what you bring to the battlefield tomorrow.
I will. I won't lay you down, Sergeant.
Nor I you.
Oh, quick question. I'm not sure if you know this, but if but could you send in a good word after this mission? I've been trying my best to get a leadership role, and I haven't really got a whole lot of responses. I send in a form every week and nothing.
I have to admit I'm new to a leadership role as well, but
Well, could you
I'll do what I'll do what I can to check and put in a good word.
Thank you. Appreciate that. She gives you a big old smile and just okay. She like turns to like look at another person. It's like you, like another person who's just like training with like like a wooden sword on a dummy. Me and Private Orange just. I need a wrestling partner. I am not gonna get thrown over someone's head again. And like the dude's like, wait, what's going on? And she approaches with hostile intent as you begin to leave.
At a girl.
Lot lot of lot of power in her words. A lot of self a lot of belief despite the fact that you just saw her get bodied in CQC.
True.
And the last one.
And the last one, we'll go visit Private Blandleaf.
This one you actually they're actually told like they've been in the mess hall for about like an hour and a half. They're from what you see in the records, they are the newest recruit of the four, even more than Private Sinbad.
Hmm.
They literally just joined like 2 days ago, and despite like impressive performances on what they do, uh, they primarily work as a scribe in just recording and writing and essentially assembling communications. You come up behind them, and this Spriggan, this woman entirely made of wood, is just writing away at one of these lunch tables. And like you see like essentially writing out the like tomorrow's newsletter, patrols, what who's assigned to who, updates to the this entire detachment of like what needs to be said to the entire detachment, and just a bowl of a slop, just the lunch slop next to her.
The classic lunch slop. We all know the lunch slop.
It is important to note. Lunch has ended. And there's probably like two empty bowls and like two like full bowls of slop still there. Seems like seems like she's just eating while working.
Private Blandleaf.
Uh, she looks up and like looks around, like finally locks eyes with you. I'm not sure if you have any experience with Spriggans, but they're entirely made of wood, uh, full on nature, and they have a very close relationship with the Far Quarter, given that it is a place where all the elements mix. You're also very much aware that they are a point of concern within the rings. So the fact, so their existence might make a few people uncomfortable. Of just like just that close connection between the Far Quarter and creatures of elements. But she
Fair
looks,
enough.
but she looks at you and just, ah, Sergeant Anatolius. Uh, pleasure. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind on a few of my duties that I've already volunteered for. I just figured I'd finish up the newsletter, deliver a few more messages around the outpost, care for the animals, record, do inventory, record what we have, what we're missing. Uh,
I understand the call to duty, but I just wanted a quick word with you. Obviously, I presume you've gotten the mission briefing. I'm to lead tomorrow's mission, a little bandit excursion,
uh,
and as this is my first mission I'm leading, and also just good practice. I thought I'd talk to uh, all of the team members that are going to be coming out with us. Ask, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Are there any concerns you have for tomorrow?
that is good. It shows that you have a big ol' heart. But where did you get the briefing? Where would I have gotten the briefing? You know the answer to this. Everyone has a mailbox. Uh,
Have you not been checking your mailbox?
what what is a what's a mailbox?
So there should be a there should be a place by your quarters where uh, most correspondence comes in. So any letters you might be getting from home, but also orders,
Oh,
uh,
uh,
inter uh, interdepartment communication.
oh, is that the reason why I'm the only one walking around delivering letters to people? Do they just put their letters in these mailboxes? That's odd and impersonal. Hmm.
It's efficient, is what it is.
Hmm. Efficient. Like sort of like looks down at like the she still has about like 30 more papers to go of like the same newsletter. Why do I get
Here, let me lend you a hand, and we
what?
can talk while we work.
Thank you. Uh, and as you work in chat, you get the distinct feeling they're not really familiar with a lot of the a lot of the processes of the military or like even modern technology. While they're smart, they speak fluently. Uh, they just you talk about mailboxes. You talk about like a printing, like essentially there's a place for like people to reprint items. Like it's a basic like a common magical item that is there's a facility here in the outpost for that, and she is just completely like blank. Like what? So we haven't had to handwrite all these. I hmm. I'm learning so much today. Who knew that joining the military I would have to figure out new things?
Yeah. Well, that's not just the military. That's life in general. You learn.
Hmm. Just looks down at like the completed list of newsletters, and like one person just comes by with like an entire stack of printed papers and just essentially sets up like essentially a pamphlet for uh there's going to be a karaoke night tonight for the outpost, like for a solid like four different sessions, so that not everyone's in the karaoke night at once because people still have to be on guard. But there's a it is very the typesetting is good. There's a nice border and just completely blows your handwritten newsletter out of the water and just Private Blandleaf blinks a few times and just hmm seems like I'm gonna have to make this look a little bit better. Thank you for your help, Sergeant.
No problem. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Understood. And so, as the day in question comes around, I want you to answer two things. One, what's the basic plan? What is the plan? What is your plan of action to figure out what's going on with these bandits and to deal with them?
We are working on very little information. All we know is apparently there's about 7 of them, and they've been ambushing carts. We don't know which direction they're coming from. We don't know what their mode of operation is. We just know that they've been destroying things and presumably stealing the contents of those carts. My plan uh my plan is to take a position in the nearby forest. Uh or at least or at the very least to have my four my four underlings take a position in the forest. If we can requisition a cart from the military, effectively try to lure them out by effectively bait them out. I'll be driving a cart that doesn't have anything in it, but it'll look like a valid target. They'll set upon me. I will be able to hold my own, and then we counter ambush.
Got it. Uh, then let me place all of the characters onto here. Let me give you power over them, and you can show me where you wish to place them, as well as yourself, which you're probably gonna be like right here. Uh,
Yeah, that's probably about where I was thinking.
Let me give you quick permissions because I am absolutely great at doing things like this. And
You're also going to need to unpause the game because I can't move things while the game is paused.
uh, yeah, don't worry, I got you. As you can see, chat, I'm a very prepared individual. All right, show me where. I made you the owners of all the characters.
All right, so we've pretty much determined that that effectively that the forest over here, if you can see where I'm gesturing with my little box,
As in,
is probably clear. They're probably coming from the cliff faces, which would also make sense from an ambush perspective. You're going to be less, it's the old adage, no one ever looks up. So I'm thinking position the fellows.
I will say, if you hold down left click, you can make a signal somewhere. If you can see what I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you really need to show, like, you get everyone's attention somewhere.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
That is interesting.
but if
Okay.
you click on any of these individuals, do WASD, you can move them around.
Uh,
Because te-
that
cause technically I made you an
okay.
owner.
That did interesting. I don't know what I did. I'm gonna. I know it's not exactly visible on the stream. I'm gonna send this in the Discord. I don't know what I did, but I
Uh, typically, I don't know what's going on either, but if you just click on one of the other things on the side, is it still showing that for you, Eats, or no?
it's still showing them.
Well, I don't know. Like, it's still showing a pair.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks fine from my angle.
It's also I just realized it's not doing the oh, that's
Sometimes it's just easier to click and just do WASD. I don't really know.
now okay, now I think I did the same thing. Oh, that's bizarre. Okay. Okay. Whatever these ghost tokens are, they are I have now locked myself out of moving let's see. I can move Corporal Hope. I can't move any of the rest of these guys, including my token, because they're all like the ghost tokens.
If you just click on one of the, if you go to the left hand side of Foundry, if you just click on measurement controls or just something else and then go back to token controls, it should get rid of all the ghosts.
Oh, okay, there we go. It okay, yeah, that did get rid of all the ghosts.
That I learned. I don't know the technical like way to fix that situation, but I do know the workaround. Don't at me.
Okay, weird. Okay, so I can't drag them anywhere. I have to use WASD
That would
because
be
dragging them is what's creating the ghosts.
yes, and I will probably work on that in a second, but not right now.
Unfortunate.
So show me where you're gonna assign your people.
I believe this is pretty sure this is it. I want them nearby, but away from the center of the action, so that it comes as a surprise that they're there.
Got it. And you probably do you send them ahead to get into this position?
Probably would, yeah,
Cool.
because they need to be in position for the counter ambush at the time that the ambush happens, which hopefully will be when I'm driving past.
All right. Give me 1 second. If this is the plan, can I please have you roll 4d20 for me, please? Actually, roll just 1d20 four times. Oh shit, that's pretty good.
Oh, that doesn't.
Uh,
Oh, that
it
doesn't save. That doesn't save the. Oh no, it does.
no, if you
Okay.
if you click on the 4d20, it does show you
Yeah,
each
if you click on the
individual.
4020, it does show you the individual ones. Okay.
All right. So as you get your cart and you fill it up with boxes of quote unquote goodies, and going through the trails and feeling the air, you know, enter your lungs. The far quarter, having such a wide biodiversity, like this is being a more human part to allow trees to grow. Let me see if I can figure this out really quickly. Nope. We'll figure this out later. But as you come up the southwestern part of this map, you just hear silence. Just the rustling of leaves and whatnot. Let me begin to shift your perspective.
Shift my perspective. We're gonna like do drugs together, or
Because once you approach the intersection, you hear something else. The sounds of combat. As the clinking of metal against armor, the, the sounds of yelling and of agony. Can I please have you make a perception check?
absolutely. Do skills and perception. That is a 12.
Let me roll. Cool. You are able to. Let me just set up the situation. Finish that up real quick. Sounds like I had something prepared that I need to adjust because of the plans you made. Why would you do this to me?
because I can.
You walk into this scene, and you, you're not able to get a good view on what's happening here, but you can see Private Sinbad and Private Joran just fending off a few individuals equipped with basic leather armor. But there's something off about them because they are fighting with a little bit of savagery. Like doing really bad fighting techniques, swinging their blades haphazardly, but still almost getting through your soldiers' armor classes. It's a weird sight, but as you are looking at this, up north, you can see a single small individual cackling quietly and whipping something into the air. You just hear the snap of the whip hitting multiple times into the air. Do you see where that is?
I cannot see anything right now. I'm where you've changed something, and I'm back to having an entirely black screen.
I really do need to figure out lighting. Anyway,
Oh, there we
so you
go.
see the small guy up here with the whip. You can see your compatriots already being assaulted. It seems like they were not able to get in, or it seems like they drew the attention of the bandits before you arrived.
Ah, shit.
And if you see, Private Sinbad is already bloodied. And so, as you come around the situation, what is your immediate reaction upon seeing combat?
Roll initiative.
Uh, since this is a story battle, and it is unfortunately partially scripted, we are not rolling initiative.
That is fair. My first reaction would be if I see that Sinbad is the one that's injured, I would yell. I would still jump into the fray. I would probably try to go to over here, flanking this guy, trying to help out Sinbad, get some of the heat off of Sinbad, and I would be shouting to everyone, retreat.
All right. Uh, roll. Uh, click on yourself. Press T over this first target
Yep.
and roll attack. Make sure you have an expertise die on this because you are flanking with Sinbad. So D4. 8 points of damage. You bring this bandit to critical. Looking real bad, but still standing up as you impale them. And just chuckling a little bit and like, and here comes the brave old leader. Too late. And a few of these other guys just chuckle as the combat unfolds. At this point, you can see that all of your all of your soldiers are under attack, like engaged with another bandit, at least one. And while it seems that Private Journe and Private Sinbad are handling the best, given that they are the most martially trained, it's not looking good. They are bothering your people, and the snaps of the whip are just cracking in the distance. Like even though you've given the order to retreat, these guys are a little bit nervous. Your soldiers are a little bit nervous to follow that order. What do you do?
Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead. Uh, bonus action, rallying surge. Uh, which let me just double check. Hit points regains hit points equal to 1d8 plus martial level. So that will be that will be targeting Private Sinbad. And as my action, I would make another attack against this guy.
All right. All right.
So let's
Target them and then roll your healing surge for healing.
as a 17 for the attack.
That does hit. They did. Now remember, you have to target
Oh
Private Sinbad
yeah,
because they
fair.
are the one that needs healing, not the person you just killed. They are
True.
they are beyond they are beyond
Yeah,
uh, healing.
that is 7 points of healing.
All right. The bloody condition is removed. In
And
the
then
mhm.
actually, and then once this guy is down, I'm moving up here.
Got it. Roll a 1d2 for me, please.
Uh,
All right.
that's a 1.
As you come up into position with your two frontliners, there is a scream from behind you. As you see, Private Blandleaf is cut in two. And you just hear yelling from Private Sinbad, like, "No! No!" And she's just looking around in a slight panic. Uh, these guys begin to approach. Actually, no, this guy would probably approach Corporal Hope.
God damn it.
As you I am just gonna honestly say, with your guys' turns, you definitely can all unite against this dude. and kill this individual, but this still leaves you in a really bad position.
Right. I'm After this guy is dead, I'm putting myself down here, hoping to I am intentionally putting myself in a bad position tactically, hoping to give my hoping to give the rest of them a chance to escape.
So you're sacrificing yourself.
I'm certainly trying.
All right. How? Then here's what I'm gonna do. We, this dude is going to make repeated attacks against you, and we're gonna see how long you can last.
All right.
Hmm. That's odd. Why can't I apply does it hit to my thing? Let's try this one more time. Oh, it might have to be a public rule. What is going on here? Anyways, the first strike is 5 points of damage. We'll figure this out later.
Ouch, my bones.
And and then this guy is gonna make a scimitar strike against you as well. 17 to hit, that misses.
Hell yeah.
And I think with your order to retreat, uh, Private Sinbad and a Yorn, they are going to attempt to. They're gonna still make an attempt to save
To
Hope.
save Hope.
Yeah, I don't think these are not in their eyes. They're soldiers. They are not going to abandon people when they're gonna make an attempt to save them. We're gonna make a more strikes.
Do I not get a chance?
If you want to make one strike, I'm not sure if you can kill one of these guys in one turn, but you can try.
That's what I'm thinking is I can try.
Damn, that's enough.
That, yeah.
One slash against your armor, and you down this guy. And you're like, fantastic. Like you're like, okay, this is going well.
Tide is turning.
And like as you say that, uh, Yorn and Sinbad like look at you like this, but it's not. They're gonna come back. And you look over and you see the first bandit. It's gone. The body's just completely not there anymore. And without any wounds, they're back. This guy this guy as well. They just come back as if they're just freshly walking back into combat from the road. Oops, my bad. In truly the words of a legend, they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming.
Fuck. We we are not prepared to deal with necromancy.
Here's the thing. Uh, you might not be proficient in Arcana. If this is necromancy, this is some high level necromancy. Like body's gone, shit's happening. Do you continue to lay yourself down?
No, I think now. Mm, the situation has changed a little bit. We need to get out of here, which also means we need to get hope out of this situation. I think I'll take the opportunity attack as I move over here.
Got it. And that is a roll. That is a miss. Lesson learned. I shall roll in my other window. But yeah, you are able to get there. What do you do once you get to that situation?
I want to get Corporal Hope out of this situation, being locked behind these. So I'm going to make an attack against this guy.
Got it. Alright, that is a hit. If you could please make one more attack on the next round, as Sinbad and Jorn are going to attempt to go for the next guy to try to alleviate the pressure on Hope.
All right,
Damn, two 20s.
two dirty 20s.
Yeah, you are able to take this guy down. As another very familiar bandit comes back to the fight. Corporal Hope, seizing the opportunity, is going to begin getting the hell out. Uh, However, it doesn't seem like Sinbad and Yorn are doing well. You're able to see that they're both visibly bloodied from multiple rounds of combat. And they're both about to be surrounded. What do you wish to do as you're dealing with this guy right next to you?
I'm going to, instead of making my own attack, I'm going to use commanding presence. No, that's a 10-foot radius. Am I?
I'm willing to let you move to where this works because this is more of a story battle than an actual battle.
That's also fair. Actually, I guess if I'm moving to where it works anyways, because the thing is, this involves me foregoing an attack action. What I want to do is I was thinking from there I might be able to give them a chance to attack this guy, and use their movement to start following Corporal Hope. But if I'm gonna be up here anyways, I feel like I might as well make that attack myself. If that makes sense.
Sure. Make the attack.
Does this count as flanking
No, not at that position.
at this position?
Yes.
Okay.
That does hit, but dude is still up. I'm willing to say that Private Sinbad and Yorin, they're both able to make strikes, and I'm 2 HP. Dude doesn't stand a chance. However, these guys are right on your heels. You're not a trained. You're not trained in stealth. In particular, you're not used to strategic retreats this close to the enemy. You're not sure if you can outpace these guys. What do you want to do?
Keep going. Follow the road north. There's a village with a guard about a mile up. You should be able to get reinforcements there if they're still by.
As they both nod and give you Yorn gives you a slight salute of I'll see you I'll see you on the other side, brother. I would like you to please roll 2d20 because there's a very high probability even with your sacrifice these guys are probably not going to make it. All right. As these guys begin to surround you, I'm going to roll a simple wisdom save on the part of a private urine. And as you see them run away, and these guys come up to you, it truly is a death of 1,000 cuts. As these guys just will you down, you're trying to block all these strikes, but it is just too damn much. And after multiple strikes, you feel one more stab into your armor, and just the the tensing of muscles is too much, as just the feeling of pain overpowers you, and you feel yourself drop to your knees. As these bandits just look down at you as you fall, just menacing grins, the feeling of blood and justice leaking from your pores. You fall down to the ground unconscious.
Unfortunate.
Understood. As you regain consciousness, you find yourself in the same intersection, but just blood everywhere. You feel weak, you feel empty. Your pockets have been picked clean, your weapons have been taken from you, and you look down to see your Spriggan compatriot still cut in half, lifeless.
What else is there to do? I. They deserve a burial.
And as you begin to dig through the pain, dig through the voices in your head, the there's a voice behind you that's just yelling, Sergeant Anatolius! Sergeant Anatolius! I swear
Yes,
you better be out here.
I'm out here. I'm out here.
And you turn and like walking down the road from the northeast. You can see Corporal Hope, like with the arm of a private Sinbad around her shoulder, and she's leading them back towards you guys, and just like, I, 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 what are you doing?
I'm I'm doing what I can for I'm doing what I can for Blandleaf.
I, I respect that, but Sinbad is currently bleeding out on me. You,
Oh shh.
you're in fucking. Once we had a moment to relax, pulled out a blade and tried to kill them.
Yorin? Where is he now?
Well, she's dead.
She. Oh fuck.
We, I, I didn't know what the hell was taking them. Like they just sort of like put Sinbad down. Like you see, like essentially the whirrings of Magitech beginning to like trying to continue its operations, but there's something missing, either a broken valve, broken metal. And I'm gonna say just between the two of you guys, with enough engineering checks, you're able to stabilize Private Sinbad.
This will do for now, but we need to get him back to HQ.
I I understand. What the? Just looks around. Just what the? I'm. I don't know what the hell happened back there. As the day continues, Splurbod, are you gonna try to carry Sinbad with Hope back to HQ, or are you gonna send someone ahead?
No, we that worked out so well the last time. No. I think we're going together this time.
And as you get as you guys get along the path, it doesn't take too long before a traveling merchant does come by, seeing your plight, and they're more than willing to at least take you the rest of the mileage to back to HQ.
Thank you.
I imagine the next few days are a blur.
Absolutely.
Lots of yelling, critiques of your tactics, and just the there's just a massive amount of ignorance to like what you experienced. And eventually you can hear like the interrogators, the I forget what they're called. Who are the lawyers within the military? I remember seeing a movie around this with Tom Cruise, but I forget what it's called, what they're called.
I know what you're talking about. I think I even know what movie it is. I'm not thinking of what the term is. I think
Regardless,
it's literally just military attorney.
fair enough. And eventually, after all this yelling, you are given a document, Spurbod. A detailed, dishonorable discharge from active military service, with listed the removal of all medals and honors from inadequate leadership and a breach of military discipline.
I get it.
It is signed by Major Phalith.
Yeah, yeah, that scans.
Do you visit your family after this, or no?
Is it old harvester? I don't think I can look my parents in the face right now.
Come back to the village. Harvester is working the fields as you approach, and at this point, they have gone from like at least like raw iron to like they look visibly rusty. And he looks up as you approach, and just like Spurbod, Spur, you
How you doing, old man?
old.
Yeah, I can tell.
You missed. You missed the harvest. Coulda used you.
Well, I've been busy with training and uh
I imagine this is.
small.
I imagine this isn't your first time back home since like becoming a member of the military.
Probably not.
This is probably like the first time in a year, if you don't mind me interjecting.
That works for me.
And just, sorry, continue.
I've been busy going through training to get my sergeant promotion. Uh,
And Harvester like leans on the hoe. We uh we got the letter about 2 days ago. Your your parents have barely left their house. I don't know what they're doing, but they have sent out messages to try to send to you. I don't know what they say. I heard that that they're heading over there to them, to you.
Well, I guess it'll be a nice surprise when I get back, won't it?
You're we already saw the letter, the notice they posted on the board. You're you're not going back, aren't you?
I can't, but I can't stay here either. I'm I I don't know what's going to happen now, but
I don't know. But there's one thing I do know. When you take a risk and move, the grass could either be dead or the grass could be greener on the other side of the fence. When I came here, well, I think you know the answer.
I think I do too.
Will you at least send us a letter?
Try.
Here. I I don't got a whole lot, but I can give you something. And Harvester goes into their hut and fiddles around before coming up to you. Well, I noticed they took away your medals. So, in my authority as a farmer of the far quarter, I bestow upon you the highest honor of Care Peak. And just if you accept it, a harvester will like lean in with something in their hands towards your armor. Do you accept what they're doing?
I'm definitely not going to stop them.
They you can feel them fumble with their hands. Definitely not as dexterous as they once were. But eventually, as they pull back, there is what seems to be a rusty bottle cap that has been pinned to your lapel. The brand has long since been lost. But hey, it's something.
Thank you.
Now, go find those greener pastures, okay?
I will.
And as you leave home, I imagine you drift to many different positions. Nothing glamorous as you move around and scavenge enough coin to get where you need to go.
True.
A few years before the current day, you finally find a place that you can at least feel calm in. After wandering around the disc of love, a mirror, you finally hear that the Sailing Serpent Inn is in need of like small acts, small places for just small bouts of entertainment and like maybe even a lesson or two. Just a few small attractions to entertain the crowds. Talking with the manager, Carr, you both come to an agreement to have you lend your weapons expertise to teach these little rascals who need something to do as their parents leave them at the inn to do other funner things in a mirror.
Yeah.
Uh, you mainly teach kids who are not barely paying attention, kids that have high enthusiasm at the very beginning, but then quickly fade out as they realize, oh, fighting means you get hurt. And just while some kids do show a little bit of promise, they're typically pulled out once the vacation is over. Except for one. One like young teenager would come up to your instruction, get their ass beat. The beginning instruction is always, do you really want to be a fighter? Do you really want to know how to do this? It, or are we going to have to go through the baby courses? I imagine, if is that true, Splurbod?
I'm so cautious now. I think, like, one, these are children. I feel like we need to go through the baby courses because everything builds up from a strong foundation. And especially in fencing, that foundation has to be safety uh, for sparring.
Fair enough. Ignore Chad. Ignore what I just said for the past 5 minutes. Spurbod is a big man of safety.
Look, I may be drunk, but I'm not stupid.
I mean, why not be both? Anyway, this this teenager, I think you finally start to notice that there's something a little bit unusual by the time they've come to your lessons for like the past 2 weeks. They just come on up, pay you for the lesson, and just do the best they can, and like they're the ones actually like paying attention. One of those people with promise, and they are not going away.
I'm gonna approach. I'm gonna approach him after one session. You're Bim, right?
They look at you and like, uh, yeah, Rodgil Beam, uh, sir.
Still doing here.
Uh, Sir, you're here as a weapons instructor, right? I uh I want to learn how to fight.
You know, I've been doing this for about what 2 years at this point. I think you are my first repeat customer. What's driving you? Why do you want to learn how to fight this bad?
Roll persuasion.
Oh, good lord. I do skills and persuasion.
They look at you and just, I, sir, I. Like, they sort of like look away and scratch their head. I am. Like, with a deep breath in and deep breath out. I don't really have many other options. My my family is somewhere. I don't know where they are, and I don't really have anywhere else to go for learning. Nothing that matters anyway.
And why does fighting matter?
Because,
War is a brutal thing.
well,
It's an ugly thing. It's something, well, I can't exactly look back and recommend.
I I know you've. I haven't heard that part, and I'm not really sure if that's where my heart is calling. But well, if you know how to hold a sword and hold a shield, you can make a difference, right? It
Oh yeah.
You have to be the right person at the right place at the right time, and you can do something, do something great. And uh, I'm gonna have them roll for something.
All right.
They are trying to hold back tears.
That's a 5.
Yeah, they are trying to hold back tears. Uh, I I want to make a difference.
You want to protect. Now that, and I'll put my hand on his shoulder. Now, that's something I can work with.
And well, I think it's pretty cool to also use pole arms, but also yeah, protection.
Pole arms? Why didn't you say so? Oh, the skill set for pole arms and swords is very different. If that's what you're planning on, we should have had you on pole arm sized arms a while ago.
You
There are
look
going to be so many bad habits we're going to need to break now.
you look over at like where your like wooden like your training equipment is, and there's just like
It's just a stick.
it is just a stick. One of end of it is already broken off, and just Beam just
All
looks
right, now
over.
what pole arm? You thinking gizarm, bill hook, poleaxe? Are you thinking a pike? Because oh boy, those are. I'm gonna have to get a new stick for that if that's what you're planning on. Because those that should be about twice as tall as you are, and I just don't have those anymore. Not since my last one broke.
I think I'm gonna need a dictionary.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm not sure if I would have a dictionary. I don't. I feel like I probably would not have a dictionary of pole arms available. But
Not
I would probably.
not immediately, and libraries are not a plentiful thing in a mirror, but they are around. And we can say that this is like the beginning of like your extensive training with Beam. Once again, Rodgel Beam is his full name.
Gel beam.
And as time passes, the alcohol flows. You continue your training primarily with Beam, uh, and eventually, I imagine you allow him to essentially become a squire to assist with teaching, because eventually his
Oh
money
yeah.
does.
Eventually, he's miles ahead of any of my other students. He would definitely be able to assist.
Yeah, and he assists in exchange for the squireship or whatever it's called. Would appreciate free lessons. Is willing to work for food. And the day before session one, it is it is after your lesson. Beam and your Beam has started to head home, wherever home is, because they don't stay at the inn. And the kids you've been babysitting and teaching the basics of defending themselves, they've gone to their rooms. with their parents and family or caretakers, leaving you in the bar with whoever else is drinking after 10 p.m. Uh, as a note, the disc of love, Amir, it is quite the party place. This place is an exception to that rule, given how far away it is and how it's not really in the nightlife area of any major city on Amir, and given its more like picturesque location away from everything with a beautiful crystal lake, it's just not happening here. Some people drink. Car is, you know, cleaning off some glasses and serving a few drinks. Even coming up to you and just, hello, Splurbod? You doing alright? Good lesson?
The lesson.
Certainly was. The usual?
Yeah, the usual.
Quick question. What is the usual?
Uh, this is where me not liking alcohol comes to bite me in the ass because I don't. Let's go with a whiskey sour because that is a thing that I am aware of, and it has whiskey in the name,
Sure.
so it's probably pretty strong.
I respect it. And Carr smiles, this non-binary warforged who's been essentially your manager for these past few years. You know, besides a few complaints from parents, they don't really bother you in your teachings. You do good for the building. And as a server comes by with the sour, you see someone entering through the front door. And you recognize them. They're not trying to be discreet.
Well, goddamn.
You see the other Warforged come on up to your table, adorned um, with the, with some nice lighter like skirmisher armor and the designation of the Aenean military. She sits down and just a little bit of a smile. Sergeant Anatolius.
You know that's not my title anymore.
I know, but
It's just Splurbod nowadays.
I know, but hey bartender, can I have whatever he's having? And Carr just nods and just, sure thing. You want this it adjusted for your physique and Sinbad waves her hand and just, no, 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 no. Just make it like you normally would. All right, ma'am. And just Sinbad looks to you and just, I I don't know how to put this tactfully, but given that you didn't actually harm any of us, I still think you at least deserve the honor. Sergeant.
I'm very sorry. The thing we were talking about earlier happened. Could you repeat that?
Oh, the thing we were talking about earlier happened. Uh, don't worry. Uh, Sinbad had ordered a whiskey and essentially said, "You didn't attack any of us, so I still think you at least deserve the honor." The
It's
honor,
not a question of what I. It's not a question of what I deserve. It's a question of what. It's a question of what's true.
and the truth is, you saved my life. As the second sour's put down, uh, Sinbad pu- puts the glass up into the air. Cheers.
Cheers.
And a clank and a sip. It's happening tomorrow.
A bit sooner than I expected.
Just remember your orders. We don't hurt anyone. We aim to subdue. And if somebody breaks that deal, show no mercy.
Understood.
Citizen Splurbod. That just sounds weird.
Yeah, it's just Splurbod. The
Just
citizen. That's
yeah, that's not gonna catch on. Just chuckles and takes another sip. But if you wish to address me by my title, I just became a sergeant.
oh, congrats on the promotion.
Thank you. Finally had to pass my Aenean slang exam. Passed with flying
Oh,
colors.
yeah, that's a
And the company that made me got a massive bonus to finally making a something of my model that works fluently.
well. I guess I'll see you tomorrow, Sergeant.
See you tomorrow. And as she stands up, finishing the sour, she walks away out and out of the building. You know what you need to do. You go to your little room, go to your dresser. You need to put something on. What is the thing that you've been holding on to for the past few years? And now that this is happening tomorrow, what do you finally put on? I imagine it's some sort of badge or a pin. I'll let you decide how this looks.
I think what it is I think it's
John Cena.
the bottle cap badge uh that harvester gave me.
Hmm. Now it probably has been adjusted since then. You know,
Oh
some
yeah,
some people have had to check it. You don't really know. They don't tell you what they did to it, but they definitely did something to it. But you pull it out and put it on right on your lapel.
true.
Whatever happens.
Whatever happens.
And I think this is where we're going to end the session.
All right.
Did you enjoy yourself,
This
Eats?
this has been a great session. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Voice. Uh, Even if it was a bit hectic with the technical difficulties in the beginning.
Well, we're trying to overcome that, and hopefully, everyone listening on Twitch, hopefully, the audio is bearable. No, nobody complained except for that one bot. So we take those. Anything? Any last things you want to say, Eats, before we sign off?
Uh, I want to say, right. Only one thing I want to say is,